This podcast contains some magical adult language. Listener discretion is advised. And sorry, Mom.
I'm going to Disney World. I'm going to...
Whoa. You're not Mickey Mouse, you're a rat.
Rat smack! Besides, they're tourists. What do they know?
Welcome to Rat Castle, a progressive chat about theme park magic without the pixie dust. I am your host, your, one might even say, spiritual guide to the theme park community. Your guru, possibly, with all the knowledge. I think we'd all agree that's a correct term. And with me are... I wanted to say my disciples, but that's not true because you are also gurus. You are also fellow prophets of the rat culture. So with me is fellow rat Janine. Hello, Janine.
Hello.
And also Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
And Dave, of course, couldn't be with us, nor could Victoria tonight. And unless it's plastic surgery, I don't think it's either one down below, which is... Bri, how are you doing, sir? It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you all, too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so, of course, you've been on the podcast before. It's the first time in the visual medium, though, and you get to see our beautiful faces, including your sisters. She just likes to see you. She likes to make sure you're safe. So,
yes,
it's all good there. It's all good. So, yeah, some news. Sarah, we talked with... you and Victoria last time a little bit about the fact that you guys are going to go to Tokyo, and it looks like I will also be heading to Tokyo at a different time. Thank you. At a different time than you two. I'm going in mid-May, which is literally the best time to go to Tokyo Disney, and there's no holidays or anything. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited. It's going to be 4 days at the resort and 3 days in the park. But yeah, I couldn't go with you guys. We tried to make it work, but I'm going to be flying standby. And so...
you still got a better deal.
I got a better deal, I think.
Way better than us.
Well, it's possible I'll be flying first class. We'll see. Fingers crossed. That can happen. And I will drink my champagne and think of you guys as I live the bougie life.
But you know what? We'll be in Fantasy Springs.
That's true. We're going to talk about that. I don't get to see Fantasy Springs. That was a bit of I'm missing. Sinbad is going to be closed, even when you guys are there. And then Fantasy Springs. There's a bit of me that wants to still buy some Shandu merchandise. And I'm a little bit like, am I allowed to buy? This is a very nerdy thing. Am I allowed to buy merchandise for an experience I wasn't able to have? I think the answer is yes.
Yes,
for sure.
Resoundingly so, yeah.
Right. Yeah. But so at the same time,
arguably, like, even more justified.
As long as it doesn't make me sad. Right.
I have two questions.
I have two answers.
One, when is the actual opening date for Fantasy Springs?
June 6th.
Oh, of course.
Boom.
And two, what is the likelihood that they'll have like previews available while you're there?
Like a soft opening? A whole month. I don't know. It's a whole month in advance.
It's a whole month in advance.
But for like a huge land like that, sometimes that happens. Yeah,
you're right.
Sometimes.
There's been no
here in California. Like I feel like Nintendo was previewing and soft open for like a long time before it
That's a good
officially
point.
opened.
Yeah.
There's not been any news of it.
Yeah.
I will be thrilled if that's the case. And frankly, if it does happen, it's going to happen when I'm there because the week before is Golden Week, which is like 3 or 4 Japanese holidays in 1 week, basically. And that's the hot season. That's when people do take off and go to Disney. And they're not going to want that like pressure for soft opening.
Totally.
So I don't know. There's a chance. But I'll be happy no matter what. So fingers crossed.
We'll pray for you.
Yes, we'll be talking about bless up, and we'll be talking about some of the merch that's coming out for Fantasy Springs in a little bit.
I just need to clarify that the energy on me yelling June 6th is that it's my birthday, and Bri knows that, and so that was
you're just a real big fan of June 6th.
That's why I was so surprised. I was like, why is she so excited?
Yeah, it's like, Janine, you're the only traditional rat, except Dave, I guess, but he's been that is not going this year. So
yeah.
And it's Bri, I suggest you go just to make her mad, just to even rat adjuncts beat Janine there, but it's okay. We'll bring you back some stuff, Janine. Don't you worry. Anyway, I think we should get to the news. Okay, let's begin with. We'll start with the East Coast. We'll stay at Walt Disney World, the Magic Kingdom. Well, this also, of course, this piece of news will work for Disneyland at some point, but we've seen it at the Magic Kingdom right now. Janine, who has got a real glow up theme wise recently that we've all been able to take a gander at?
Tiana's. The swamp is in bloom. The scaffolding or a lot of the scaffolding has been taken down from the salt mine that the ride exists on. It's built around like the idea of a salt mine.
Right.
That was a new discovery for me. I didn't know that's how they were justifying the mound.
Yes. Yes. I think it's an abandoned salt mine or something. I don't remember how it works.
Something like that. Yeah. So scaffolding is down, and there's a lovely swamp in what used to be the Briar is now like cypress knees and creepy water. Moss. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really weird to see it without all the thorns because that took up so much space. And once they pulled
it
all
looks
that,
a little weird.
yeah, almost like it wasn't made for the ride. It's
almost.
Yeah. But I think they're not done with that either. I think they'll be doing some more adjustments. But it's cool.
Yeah,
the moss,
I think so for sure.
It finally feels like a swamp.
But it's a pretty swamp.
Yeah,
it is a pretty
flowers
swamp.
on it are super pretty.
Yeah, the flowers are gorgeous. There's also like little colored bottle lanterns dangling down from
those.
me too.
Oh God, I can't wait to see it at night.
Yeah,
yes.
I think that's the space that this ride may improve the most in some ways is contemporary Disney lighting it at night. I'm really pumped to see what they do with that presentation.
Yeah,
it could be really cool.
I mean, that's sort of been Disney's problem, I think, of late is they're very good at night lighting, and all of the parks close at like 6 or 7. It feels like, not that that's true, but when you have like 2 hours maybe of evening some times of the year, then the best times, of course, in Florida you have like 3, 4 at tops.
That was the real tragedy with Pandora.
Yeah,
because they had the glow in the dark flooring, but they closed at 5 o'clock, and my son knew that at one point people were able to see the glow in the dark and make like stencils, and he was hell bent that he was going to get a Banshee stencil and a UV light, and he was going to go around, and it was like we waited years.
I've considered doing some stenciling at the parks. I never did it. The one I really want is the Yeti at Expedition Everest. There's that beautiful stone artwork stencil kind of thing that they have imprint out there.
This is totally new to me. I'm totally unaware of there being some type of like stencil happening at Walt Disney World.
I mean, I don't know if there is, but there certainly can be. There's plenty of stuff that you could do.
The stenciling at Pandora was just people bringing like a cutout of a Banshee and laying it on the floor and shining like a UV light on it so that it would glow more than the rest, just with the pattern of a Banshee on the glowing floor.
Okay,
so then how does the Yeti one work?
You actually you stencil with it, so you put the paper on it.
You do a rubbing.
Yeah, it's like a stencil rubbing, I think is the term.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but
that sounds
cool.
It's cheap gifts theoretically. You still had to pay to get in, but we're slightly off topic. I'm trying to think of a good transition from swamps from Tiana's swamp to Dagobah, but not really. We have new Star Tours areas. Where are we going in Star Tours, Janine?
We are headed to the worlds of Ahsoka and The Mandalorian and Andor. They're adding additional scenes to Disney World, Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris to the Star Tours. Let's see, we've got... I actually haven't watched Ahsoka or Andor, to my brother's chagrin.
Janine, that doesn't shock us here on the show at all.
I know. Honestly, Jenny, you don't really watch much.
Yeah,
I
it's not
don't.
a surprise to me either. But still chagrining over here.
Sure.
All the same.
Yeah. He's lobbied hard for me to make that a priority.
Andor,
but,
to be clear. Andor.
Yeah,
Just Andor. Just
Yeah.
Andor. You could save Ahsoka when you're like,
right?
What was that?
You liked Ahsoka.
I liked Ahsoka, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
So it
that's for
says,
sure. Not me.
Yeah.
I'm saving it for when I have insomnia. Like when I really can't sleep and I need something besides NyQuil, that's what I'm going to turn on.
You know, it would be. I think Japan's got me in the mood for 14-hour flight. Like, what can I do for 14 hours? What
There
vibes?
you go.
I think Ahsoka's a pretty good. Like, it's low. Like, it doesn't ask a lot of you per se. There's a lot of hushed tones, though. You'll have to have good headphones because
And
everyone's
very palpable sapphic tension between two of the characters that
Okay.
I thrills me personally.
Sarah and I both just did the dog head tilt. Like,
yeah, it's
what?
like, oh,
really?
something that grabbed our attention finally.
I'm trying to think of.
Like someone said
oh
tree?
yeah, I guess so. That's true.
Yeah. But did we just
Yeah.
notice how Nathan brought up Tokyo at a subject that had nothing to do? He's going to be one of those people that's going to
Yes,
bring up
that's
Tokyo
my
at
plan.
every chance, every opportunity,
100%.
every chance. Yeah, and I
Sarah,
love that for you.
sorry, you are a hypocrite. Well, you've already been, so technically, but
Whoa.
you're going to come back and you're going to do the same about Fantasy Springs. So
I did that. I'm not gonna lie. I was you like
Yeah.
a few months ago.
yeah,
So,
I'm not even winning
Yeah.
it though. I'm
But she
going to be
came with
merciless.
gifts, so it's allowed.
She did. Yeah, she bought me
I did.
stuff. Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
They
it's
sit
very
proudly on
welcome.
my shelf behind me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, fine. Star Tours, I guess. It's weird.
I guess. Yeah.
It's
This is-
cool. Anything to upgrade that ride. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Star Tours, Millennium Falcon, like
Oh, yeah,
it's
totally.
It's
Yeah.
No
the,
question.
the jukebox replayability of it.
Randomization. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
There's like
wonderful.
250 potential combinations.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Right. But,
For
well,
Star
sort
Tours?
of.
Yeah.
Sort
Yeah.
of, because they've
Yeah.
tried to now put them in timeline specifics. But
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if they're going to do that anymore because Andor's in, like, you can't do one that's just the Disney Plus shows because they're all in different areas.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wish, I think I'm just sore because I want some Bad Batch representation and I'm not going to get it. I always thought they should have been meet and greet characters. I know that's like a lot of costuming, but with their helmets on, of course, because you
Yeah.
can't find identical, weird looking New Zealanders to play the part. But yeah, it's fine. My thing is you're right about Falcon, and Falcon's kind of terrible because usually a toddler is flying me into the ground. But at the same time, if that had more randomization, I would also be more thrilled because the Falcon can go places too. So I don't know. I feel like it could. Yeah. I
If
mean,
it could go
they-
to the places that Star Tours is going, like why can't it though?
Well,
you
you
just
think they would have
reprogram the
taken advantage of that fact by now if they could, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
I know that we've seen footage from.
although I have
other-
a friend that has had some that might be a possibility. one
Yeah,
day.
he's digging himself up. He's covering his hole up
He's
there.
like,
That
do I
sounds
have
weird.
an NDA that I signed? What did I do?
Yeah.
Like,
So anyway, yeah, I mean it's fine. Sorry, I have something in my eye. I'm not crying about Star Tours.
but we're
I'm just-
crying about
It's
how
okay if
badly
you
the
are,
Millennium
Nathan.
Falcon
It's
is.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Millennium Falcon, not so hot.
No.
Well, and I'm a firm believer. I think there's a conversation somebody had about the fact that you could, if you really wanted to, you could make each park. California's could be in like classic Star Wars, and the new one could be in the new trilogy, or Hollywood Studios could be in the new trilogy. It can still be Batuu. It would just be different times in Batuu. I think that would have been a more interesting way of doing it because now I feel like we have
Absolutely.
like a lot of the same consistent I think that's the thing is I'm just like a little Star Warsed out, and so you're like,
For sure.
oh yeah, here's Disney Plus shows, and I'm like, is this also going to feel like homework when I go on Star Tours? Like, oh, so I don't know. I'm being poo poo about a legitimately okay ride, so I should be kinder, I think. If you think Star Tours is a steal, maybe you'll also enjoy this next semi good thing from
Oh, okay.
Disney World. Bri, what sort of offering that suggests that Disney is not scared at all about Epic Universe are they doing?
Well, I've since learned that it's really not the greatest perk. I also learned that the water parks aren't open simultaneously. They're like
No.
two
There's
different
only ever
seasonal
one.
entities.
Yeah.
Not since
Yeah.
COVID. There's a
Yeah,
lot of refurbishing that's got to be done. A lot of refurbishing.
Yeah,
Apparently.
a lot. Anyway, so Disney, in its very strong rebuke to Epic Universe, has decided to offer guests in 2025 the opportunity to go to one of the two water parks on the day that they check in to their respective Disney resort. It's unclear to me if they need to make that decision once they've checked in and then they can go to the water park, or if that's something that they can.
I think it might be like while you're waiting because check-in is at 3. So they're like,
I mean,
come
as someone
into
that
the water
worked in
parks in the morning.
hospitality, I understand that mechanism, but is that definitely confirmed? Or
I mean, it would have to be that. I don't know how else they
Yeah.
would do it, and they'll take
'Cause
your
the
bags.
parks would only be open for 2 hours because they
Yeah.
close at 5.
I know, that's why I'm like, what's the
Yeah.
actual perk here? Like, what are you
Right.
actually getting with this? You know,
And what's the alternative when they close it because of temperature? Like,
I just
what do you
can't
get?
imagine going because like a flight from LA to Florida is like 5 or 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
After 5 or 6 hours on a plane, you think I'm gonna want to go to a water park and like hang around all those people? I just can't imagine.
I
that.
actually would do that if it was Volcano Bay. I would be
Yeah.
so
If
fucking
it's
down.
Volcano
In fact, the
Bay-
last time I went to Florida, that was the plan. Is that the day that we arrived, we were going to go to Volcano Bay, and then something happened. It didn't end up happening.
But it's like
I'm
so
down for
rare
that.
that the flights are red eyes, like from here
yeah,
to Florida.
no, it's brutal.
Like,
It's brutal. Yeah.
it's so I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
Talking
and
about
then-
parks that should be open later in
Yeah.
dark. Like, oh my God, Volcano Bay. We were promised
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
yeah. There is, and they have done, water parks have done like night things. I went to one of their H2 Glow things that
Yeah.
they did, and those can be kind of fun. I think it's an extra layer of like, I don't know, security. Like, it's hard because
Yeah.
there's not as much lighting, and though they light it fairly well there, I don't know why they don't keep it
Yeah.
open. But it's usually cold too, depending on the day.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
how cold does it get? Like, cause okay, I've been to Florida in the winter.
Sure.
It's only like 2 or 3 months, right? That it's like really, really cold.
Yeah.
We had a long winter this year.
It depends,
It got
yeah.
cold in
Okay.
November and it just got warm this week.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
And it
and
may
they've
snap
closed it
back.
several times. Yeah, it may snap
Yeah.
back too.
Mm.
Yeah. It's there's a bit of me. Some are like, well, this is a way for them to fill the water park because the water park has not really seen as many things. And I'm thinking, well, they don't really gain anything by that except maybe a food purchase, which is not that much. And no one's going to buy a resort to get a free day at the water park when a water park costs you what, $50 a day or something. Like, it's not a deal one way. So I kind of think they're just using this as a scheme. Like, it's just a way of saying we're doing something when in actuality it's too complicated to actually use.
It gets a headline that puts water parks and resort into the atmosphere.
Right.
And like Disney being gracious and generous
Yes.
with their
Yeah.
offerings.
Yeah.
right.
And
Which
to the people that don't really know about
Yeah.
what's happening in the water parks, you think, oh my God, it's a perk, it's a steal, it's what? Because I thought it was a perk. I was like, oh, this sounds pretty good. But knowing Disney, it's probably always too good to be true.
it's a
So.
great I love the water parks, and I desperately miss going. Janine and our families would go quite a bit there for a while.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. It was something like
Yeah.
you do that for a couple hours, then go get something at Springs or whatever, and it was great. And then or Epcot. But yeah, from a local's perspective, it's great. But I don't see there's a couple. There are locals and DVC people. I assume DVC people will take benefit of this. So it's a perk, but it's not one that doesn't come with its caveats for sure. Let's move over to the West Coast with Bri. I don't know what you're getting. Iger has, of course, said something recently about one of your favorite intellectual properties, but then Disney is also refuting some of what he actually said. So what's going on exactly?
So it's so weird. I mean, it's so telling that like I feel like the Disney news cycle for the past couple years has been like built around like shareholder and like investment conference calls. Like it's
those
like
in
it's
D23.
pretty
That's it. Yeah.
depressing. Yeah, that's what we're getting. But anyway, during a recent, I think it was it like Morgan Stanley? I don't remember. Some type
Yes,
of
it was.
yeah.
Evil Incorporated Global Summit,
yeah.
I believe it was
Yeah.
called. Yeah.
Iger mentioned in how the attendance to a park can be boosted with the arrival of a very popular land. He mentioned that the land, that Pandora Avatar land, was enormously successful, drawed a huge number of people in, very acclaimed, and that they are planning on a version of a Avatar land at the Disneyland Resort. Now, I was very excited to hear this because I do genuinely believe that is the plan and have for some time. But the next day, today, in fact, Disney pushed out a press release kind of summarizing the vampire conference call.
Yeah.
And very specifically said a Avatar experience, again reverting back to experience rather than land, which all this is just like shareholder corporate investment like nonsense. So like take what you will from any of this. But I'm fairly certain that they're going to be doing a land, and
You think there's gonna be a full
delighted
land?
to hear that. Yeah, I really do. As we discussed, like one of the times I was on the podcast, I talked about how Avatar is the only current Disney property that is really making a lot of money for them, and consistently kind of like
consistently as in every 8 years they've made one.
13.
But it's
13.
good money,
13,
though.
you're right.
13.
But massive amounts of money when they did that.
Billions.
For sure.
Massive amounts of money. And the land in Florida is, I think the best thing for me, that's definitely my aesthetic in general. So like, I'm going to be a little biased in that regard, but I think it is the most impressive land that Disney has done, at least up until Fantasy Springs. Like, I think that's going to be pretty spectacular too. I am very excited about this news. There's the frustrating thing for me reading internet comments about this is that everyone immediately assumes that it means that the experience in Orlando is going to be cloned and ported over to Disneyland,
I hope
which
not.
I do not see happening. And that's me being perhaps naive and very optimistic, but I just can't imagine that they would do that, if only because the climate here in California would not be kind to the types of vegetation that they have in Florida. And I don't really think there's a way to translate that successfully here. And the second movie was so successful and had a radically different environment. And I think that could blend in really well here in Southern California.
Yeah. I mean,
So
my
sorry.
it's okay. My thought on that is, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about water parks. If Disneyland wanted a water park, I think that would be the property to do it with, because it can be very minimal, much like the land is, but still, you could go in and be like, oh, this is a cool vibe, and not know the story and still love it. But
they're not doing a water park
No.
in California, though. They're definitely not doing that.
No, and they don't have the space to kind of honestly waste on a water park like we
the
do.
water
waste.
rights would
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
challenging.
yeah.
And the temperature, like unlike Florida, it remains humid and warm. It holds the
Mm-hmm.
heat. But here in Southern California, it becomes like the sun goes down and it's desert. It's like, oh God, we're freezing now. Okay,
Yep,
gotta go.
Totally true. Yeah.
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 But I don't know. I'm someone who's a big stickler on the fact that I don't think Galaxy's Edge should be in Disneyland. Like it's a strange mush of traditional lands that we consider with the traditional park, and then like a totally kind of outside of the park IP. Toontown kind of gets a break because it's Mickey, but I don't know. Like California Adventure's kind of done that enough already.
I mean,
so
California Adventure, like that theme is one of the worst decisions Disney has ever done.
Right, which is why they made it into California Hollywood Studios. Like that's all it is.
But even still, it's still got California on it, and because it's California, there ain't no way that they're gonna. I mean, I don't. There are rumors that Avatar is earmarked for the Hollywood backlot area of California Adventure, in which case I don't know if they would try to go to that like retrogressive, like live the movie, see behind the scenes sort of deal.
I mean, there was for a while there was talk of name changes for Hollywood Studios, and then also California Adventures had kind of. Can we just call it Disney Adventure Park? Can we just, what can we do? That's been a thing that's been juggled for a long time. And I think at this point, California Adventure doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just a name for a park that they can kind of do as they please. And I don't feel like anyone's going to be like, that's not California based, because you can point over
you have things like Pixar Pier.
Right. Well, sure.
That
but
has nothing to do with California.
Not anymore. Yeah. And like Spider-Man doesn't live in California,
but they're like the theme of Pixar Pier, like the aesthetic and the building structures and the look that they're going for there is representative of like old California boardwalks and things like that. So,
but a boardwalk theme is a boardwalk theme. So like, for me, nothing stops them at this point from adding it there. I don't think they have the room in Disneyland proper but if it's just an experience, and then the question is, what's an experience? Where does an experience go? Like Tomorrowland desperately needs something, but there's not enough space to make an experience out of it.
I mean, my dream of dreams, which I mentioned before, is just bulldoze the fuck over Autopia.
Oh, sure.
And repurpose the lagoon, the Finding Nemo lagoon, and just turn that into the marine parts of Avatar Pandora. Cool. Kind of like a bridge between Fantasyland and Sci-Fi Tomorrowland. I think it would be...
It would make sense in Tomorrowland, yeah.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
That's my hope, because Tomorrowland here is depressing.
It's nasty. Dark.
It's bad. Dark.
Yeah, it's bad, which says something. Because, I mean, ours got a coat of paint not too long ago, but it wasn't exactly like...
Yours got the landlord special.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so we'll see what happens there. Let's go on over to my favorite place on the planet right now as I plan my trip, and that's Tokyo and Tokyo Disney. We're going to talk a little more about Fantasy Springs. Sarah, we got a big old video preview. What'd you think?
I am so excited. I cannot wait. I literally was like so freaking stoked. It just looks absolutely amazing. But this video that we're about to watch, or that we've already seen, whichever one it is.
It'll probably be playing as we speak.
Yes, it will.
Magic of editing.
The Oriental Land Company and Tokyo Disney, they have released a video just kind of like, 3 months away from the opening, and it looks absolutely amazing. You get to go over all of the lands that are in Fantasy Springs, which is Peter Pan's Neverland, Rapunzel's Forest, and the Frozen Kingdom. There's also going to be 3 rides that we're going to be seeing in this video as well, so I'm pretty excited for it all. Like, what are your guys' thoughts?
What is there to say? It just looks...
I was like, silence.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic and sumptuous.
It looks fantastic. And like each little component would be a worthy addition in and of itself. And then to find out that there's multiples of them, yeah.
I think the coolest part is like the rock formations. Like that's that's gorgeous.
I love it.
I want to know how they did that, and I need that over here immediately.
The Neverland volcanoes pumping out little toots of smoke. Something about that really has captured my heart. I am so excited for that. I mean, it's just so unfair, Like fuck so Disney Sea, man. Like,
that's Oriental Land Company money right there.
What are we doing here, folks? Yeah. Like, how is this happening here? I mean, the United States has fallen truly in so many ways.
Oh, sure.
Honestly,
yeah. Without question. There's not enough construction people in Florida to do all the theme park stuff if they wanted to do Tokyo stuff in Florida. Let's go over, just so people know, you mentioned that there is the Frozen Kingdom, which there's a new ride, which is not based on the current.
It's not like the Frozen that we have here.
No, and the one that's being cloned in Studio Paris, right? I think is where it is.
And the one in Hong Kong.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's completely new because Tokyo's like, nah, Give us a good ride. And then Rapunzel, we don't really know much information about the Rapunzel ride beyond the fact that it looks like it's a boat ride.
That's the one I'm most excited about personally.
With the
Uh-huh.
lanterns.
Tangled.
Oh
If
my
it's the
god.
lantern scene,
It is, yeah.
oh my god.
It is. It's the lantern scene.
Mhm.
Ugh.
That's gonna be so beautiful. I'm gonna cry.
And then there's
Yeah.
Peter Pan's Neverland, which has a small Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies in Pixie Hollow, so like a kid ride there. And then it looks like the
But that
main.
one I feel like is just for the views. Like you're just gonna go to sea. Like, just Skull Island.
Oh, I
That's
mean,
entire land.
really? Because I feel like you got the boat and you've got the 3D ride, which looks like it's probably either, we can't figure it out yet. It's either going to be like a massive boat variation on Pandora, Flight of Passage, or it's going to be a Spider-Man-esque sort of.
I feel like
Lots
it
of
has to
boat
be a variation of Flight of Passage
That's my
technology.
guess. Yeah,
That
Yeah.
it's got to be that.
yeah. I think it'll, Tink will fly around, and then it'll be sort of Soren-esque, I guess, but you're kind of combined into a boat. If you look at the boat, if you can see kind of images, there's a couple on the internet. The sides go up pretty high, which reminds people of the Transformers Spider-Man ride. But I think it's high because if you ever turn right or left on Flight of Passage, it's just like, what's up, everybody? You can just see it. It really
Yeah.
does take away some of the magic. Though I actually think it's pretty cool.
It's so fun
yeah.
looking up at
Yeah.
rows and
Yeah,
stacks of humans.
crazy. So
But I
anyway,
want to talk about the merch.
let's talk about the merch.
I think
Yeah.
that part is because that's what Tokyo does just absolutely so well.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
merch looks so amazing. First we can look at the Fantasy Springs merch. Looks so cute. It looks like what they have. It's like all stationary stuff from like what it.
Yeah.
They love stationery there.
But they love stationery out there. Yeah, like it's pretty cool. Like when I went, there were so many shops that had like stationary stuff. Even at like the resorts and the parks, they have like a bunch of stationary shops, which is really awesome if you love, writing is a lost art in the U.S.
I
apparently.
want that
So
Peter Pan pen.
I want
The little
everything.
pea dangle so bad.
There's some pretty cool Frozen merch if you're into that. Some creepy-ish dolls. in
No,
my
I love
opinion.
these Frozen dolls. I think they're really cute.
They're a little creepy.
Really?
They're kind of
They're
creepy.
creepy
though.
cute. They
Really?
remind
Yeah.
me of if anyone played It Takes Two. It reminds
Yes.
me of
Oh.
those characters.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yes.
I can see that a little
Yeah.
bit. Kind of yarn based.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's at least like kind of there's an authentic nature to them, to the kind of the merch. I kind of feel like the merch for all of these, maybe not the stationary stuff, but like the dolls, they feel like they could be in the movie too. Like they don't feel
Yeah.
like just generic. Here's an
they're
Elsa
very
doll.
stylized.
Yes.
very, very.
I guess
Um,
what would be the best example? Like the different
Lost
Star Wars
Boys
figures.
hats are
the hats.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lost Boys hats are like in world immersive, bring you into the story, and they have so many options. Like I think that's one of
Those
And
are
the lanterns from
Yeah.
Rapunzel, they're also selling that too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let's talk
Yeah,
about the Lost
but-
Boys hats for a second. Since you brought them
that's
up.
what I'm running for. Because as you could see, the little Tokyo hat in the background,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get another one. Like
They're-
that's what I want
They
so
look
badly.
so cool, and like that's really the only thing. I hope they're not going to sell merch before it opens, but I may have to ask you, Sarah, to grab me one of these hats because
I got you. I got you.
they're so
which
I
one do
got
you
you.
want, Nathan? Which one? What you
God,
got your
this
eyes
is
on?
so hard. I am a big fox lover. I love foxes, so probably the fox one, but maybe I don't know. That little stinker, that little skunk is so cute, and I look good in black, so maybe it's the skunk hat for me.
The raccoon one is also pretty cute.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if I
raccoon
would
is
wear any of
mine.
these
No
outside of a
question.
Raccoon.
Tokyo
okay, I
Park,
got you.
but-
Right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get you the raccoon one.
yeah, but they all look
Where
so
would you wear it
cool.
outside of the Tokyo Park? You wear it
I-
every day.
I don't know. I don't know where. I don't know. I'd have to. It's not exactly my style to wear a.
Make it a trend.
Yeah. Well, that's not going to stop me from buying one either way. But and then there's
Yeah.
of course the Peter Pan, the just kind of the generalized merch too, which is like a mug and some more stationery and some. I think they're like
The shirts are pretty cool
magnets
too.
and stuff. Yeah, the shirts. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on
The art
same-
that
Throw
they have.
pillows.
I really like. Yeah.
Yeah. And you
So,
mentioned the
pretty
Tangled
awesome
stuff.
overall.
We should mention
Yes.
that one more time too. The big one there. I believe the lantern shines stars on your ceiling or shines lanterns onto your ceiling.
Yeah.
I think that's what it does because they have another one coming out for, I think it's Space Mountain's closing, for Final Flight, which is what they're calling it, if I remember correctly, because they're closing their Space Mountain soon. And they have like a Space Mountain one that shoots stars in your thing. So they've been playing around with that kind of toy model for a while. So it's cool to see them do it in different variations.
You guys, this Tinkerbell like bug bed set,
That's for you,
or
Jenny.
bugs and flowers. It's
It's
beautiful.
actually, wow.
Can't
Wait,
even
so
believe
Sarah,
it.
you've
I
been
don't know how
to
much-
you've been to Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah, I went in early November. I went on Halloween.
Oh,
actually.
so
yeah,
recently.
last year. Yeah.
Is it really
And it
as
was-
affordable as they say in contrast to here in the States?
So affordable. Tickets were like $50.
I don't
Like,
mind saying,
and-
because I've just done it, and it's such a small price. I don't even mind saying it. The cost for 4 nights at the resort was,
It's just like 600, right?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
No,
It's-
it
it's
was
so-
less. No, it was less than that.
Yeah.
Let
So
me see.
what's going on here, guys? Like, I mean, it's
The
been
yen
said
is
that
bad.
like
That's why.
the yen is bad. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that all
Yeah.
that it is, or like
I
is,
think
like
it's-
the entirety of the Disney Corporation
always-
being carried by the Parks Division and like like
600.
I don't
You're
know.
right. It was,
I don't know.
It was 635 for 4 nights.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I think that the way that they have the park priced over there matches the cost of living of the people that actually live there.
Mhm.
It seems like the Japanese people can actually go in and enjoy a nice day in the park without having to shell out thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and it might
Like,
be.
I think that's the thing.
Yeah, and it might still
And
be.
I don't think it's just because the yen is bad.
No, but I mean,
So.
it might be a little bit pricey for them. I don't particularly know the overall vibe. I don't want to be too ignorant about it, but I would say that it's far more reasonable than what we have. Price.
so people
much
here
more
are just
reasonable.
willing to pay it. That's ultimately what it comes
Well,
down
we
to.
get global people, so it's even.
And
And
capitalism's a bitch.
Get
We're not
biggest
an
bitch.
island country.
yeah.
And people complain about crowding, and like it's like either you restrict ticket sales or you restrict them by making tickets exorbitantly expensive, and so it's just
Pretty much.
it's a different
How is
scenario
it?
here.
How is crowding not an issue in Japan? I don't understand.
People are respectful. and they also they actually do stop selling tickets. Like I don't think I've ever seen them stop selling tickets in the US. Like
No.
tickets will sell out in Japan days in advance for a day.
Okay.
Yeah, like
So they do crowd control really, really well in the amount of people that they're allowing into the parks. But
Right.
in the US, I think the only days that I've seen them actually sell the parks out was, I want to say 2019 New Year's Eve, when there was
Wow.
like
New
hundreds
Year's
of
and
thousands of
Christmas.
people in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A couple. So
we're actually sold out hours before the park closed.
they weren't. It's so weird because we have the reservation system, and so it's like maybe you could buy a ticket, but you couldn't get a reservation. But a couple weeks ago, it was a Friday, and I wanted to take my son, and I could not take him. Every single park was sold out.
Wow,
Well, sold out or they wouldn't let you in. That's two different things.
Two different things.
that's true.
Yeah,
Like
that's
closed
true.
to pass holders versus we're still making those.
Well,
ticket
I even
sales.
tried like, what if we booked a hotel and we were a hotel guest? Still no.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the only way you can get so like because we're playing standby and we're not we're trying not to buy as stuff we don't need to buy because who knows if we'll make it. Though there's a very, very good chance. You can just buy resort tickets when you get there. And because I have because I have a resort, I'm staying at the resort, I can just buy tickets and I'm guaranteed entry. But even before I have the tickets, I can book restaurants in those parks even without tickets because they know I'm staying at the resort. So it's just a better system. And yeah.
How many hotel/resort properties does Tokyo have? They've got the Disney Sea one.
Maricosta.
Is it 5 or 6?
Maricosta,
Toy
Toy
Story.
Story. The
Isn't there like a Western one?
The new Fantasy Springs one. There's Celebration, Disneyland, 5 or 6.
Oh no, I was thinking
Wow, I had
Paris.
no idea
think
there were
it's
that
5 or
many.
6.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I believe Disneyland just has the 2 right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Disneyland just has Grand Californian. No, we have three. Pixar Hotel, Grand Californian, and the Disneyland Hotel.
That's right.
Wait. Oh yeah, there are three. Yeah.
Yeah, three. We forget about the Pixar one.
Yeah,
But you know, it's here. It's here.
So anyway, enough about Disney, Tokyo or otherwise. Let's move on to Universal Studios Florida. We're going back to the East Coast. We had said not too long ago that Universal will probably get into doing drone stuff because it's harder in the middle of Orlando to do fireworks. And lo and behold, we have drone testing video over at Universal Orlando. So they are playing around, man. They're like creating, it looks like they're creating the globe out of drones. They're doing it. So there's a guarantee, I think, at this point that Epic Universe opens with a drone show. Because this wasn't even at Epic Universe. This is just for normal Universal. So it's kind of great. It's fairly it's fairly non-intrusive, you know, it's quieter than fireworks. And you can hear the audio via when you're down below, so it doesn't really bother people that are sleeping or whatever in the middle of Orlando.
I hate
but yeah,
fireworks.
my
I
wife
was
doesn't
waiting
either.
for you to.
I hate them.
I like them, but I also think that there's a cost connected. For a while, I think it's still the case. The second biggest buyer of gunpowder in America is Disney, behind the military.
Damn.
Because of all the fireworks. I think there were some estimates that it was like $10,000 a night. And guess how much drones cost? Kind of not that much, really, to be honest. You just buy them once and reprogram them. It's a lot of investment, but once you have them, you have them, and you just gotta do maintenance.
So we've had the conversation about drones.
Yes.
Multiple times, and just to like reiterate, like it's legal to have them if they're only over water, right? In the U.S.
You certainly can't put them over people. So my guess is this is over
Okay.
water, or this is over property that's closed. So they can also close off areas of the park and say, like, they could do this. I'm trying to think in my head, Google map it in my brain, but like they could do this, you know, beyond Men in Black or something at Universal, and no one's back there. You know, they just cut it off. So there's opportunities like that to make it work without much issue. And of course,
Because I'm
Epic
trying to think.
will be
Yeah.
made for it. So
Because I'm trying to think how in Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
where could they go? And the only places that I can think of, if we're doing California Adventure, it'd be over the water.
yeah,
Right by the Ferris
it would be
wheel.
done.
But
then-
it
also,
would
they
be done in-
closed down Mickey's Toontown
Yeah.
at night.
That's what I
for
was.
fireworks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's
and
where it
so
would.
they've already done that. They can do that there
Mhm.
also.
yeah.
That's true. Well, I hope they get into using the drones more. I think it adds a different vibe. We've seen like Disneyland Paris use it,
Yeah.
like in tandem with their fireworks. So like, I think that would be
Yeah.
really, really cool.
Yeah, I think there's some. I think this is the new sort of hot thing. We'll see how long it's interesting. You have to. I think you got to do cool things with it. It can't just be, you know, They did a Marvel one in Paris, and it was cool. But like once you see Spider-Man kind of slowly move his arm and drone, you're like, okay, that's cool. Now what? You know. So it's got to be a mix of things. I think doing it over the water and connecting it with World of Color could be really pretty. Epcot
beautiful.
is just, I mean, they're not doing it, but it's perfect for doing drone material technically. In fact, you could, under good circumstances, you don't even need to launch them from the middle of the lake. You can launch them and they'll just fly over to the lake, you know, from the lake path at Epcot. So there's lots of options there. So we'll see what happens. Who knows with that? But we do have more details about something that is actually happening very soon over at Universal Florida, and that is DreamWorks Land. It seems to be all the details have been sort of revealed. I think we've seen a lot of these details kind of around, but we have sort of a announcement window for DreamWorks Land now. I believe it's supposed to be, let's see if I can find the data. I lost it. I had it for like a hot second, and then I lost when the date is going to be, or the date window. It looks like it's going to be 1 second. summer, this summer. So pretty soon. It's not really that hardcore, so it shouldn't have much of an issue to open. But they have a Trolls area, which utilizes the old Woody Woodpecker's coaster, but it's really pretty now. And if they add all this like fake foliage and stuff, it's certainly
I love it.
Yeah.
It's very Honey, I Shrunk the
Mhm.
Kids.
It's much prettier.
And like Bugs Land that was in Disneyland before
Mhm.
they got rid of before the
R.I.P.
Avengers campus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
love
wait
the
for like
Trolls
Bug Coaster.
aesthetic.
Yeah,
and
I
world.
love that. I love
love it.
that.
Yeah. So
I'm really excited. That's weirdly the thing that I was least interested in at first,
Mm.
but now that I've seen the concept art, I'm like, that I like
Have you
the
seen the
most.
Trolls films, Janine?
Maybe? Not in a long time.
You haven't seen the most recent one? The
I,
World
I
Tour?
haven't seen the most recent
no,
one.
the newest one's
It's
band
actually
together.
pretty good.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
The World Tour was the second one.
Right.
Or
yeah,
the third.
I've seen World Tour,
Yeah.
but I have
Okay,
not seen
the-
Band Together.
The band together where they have a boy band.
Yeah.
I've not seen.
That's the most
It
recent
just
one.
came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might still be in theaters.
It's
Honestly.
definitely streaming on Peacock imminently, if not already.
Oh, of
I
course.
don't think it's in theaters. It came out like last year.
Really? Has it been that long? Anyway,
yeah.
we also have
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda, which is utilizing the barrel that was already at. Was it Curious George? Was the water area? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Was that the water area?
The bucket.
Yeah. So the
water
bucket never left. You could see photos by a reconstruct always flying over, and the barrel just everyone was excited because the barrel just stayed there. So it is Kung Fu Panda is a mix of dry and wet areas, so kids can play around and practice kung fu. Apparently, you can meet Po via like a screen. It doesn't sound like a turtle talk thing. It sounds like more of like do these probably something kind of like Simon Says, or do this motion or do this thing, because it just seems to be a training video kind of concept. So we'll see what that looks like, but it's cute. I like the design of everything, and it brings a different aesthetic to that corner. And then Shrek's getting his outhouse
Swamp.
and his swamp. So 2 swamps this episode. Tiana's getting her swamp.
2 swamps.
And
Yeah.
it's we're not about draining the swamp over here in Florida. We're about
Nope.
Nope.
Fill that
fill that
swamp in.
swamp. So we are swampy theme park rats.
Swamp rats.
Swamp rats. I love
Well,
it.
that's nice.
I like it.
I like
We're
it.
swamp rats.
What's funny
yes.
is that Kung Fu Panda 4 is out in theaters.
Correct.
And they're also releasing Shrek 2 because it's the 20th anniversary, which just sounds so weird
man,
for
feel
Shrek
old.
2. So those
Denki.
are in theaters if you want to go check them out.
Go see Denki.
But I think it's crazy their turnaround time because it
Mm-hmm.
feels like it wasn't even that long ago when they announced this, and now it's actually opening up like literally this summer.
Well, it's not.
And here,
It's some. I mean, it's some building of buildings, but
but it's something. Okay, but like we see Disney doing what? Like, let's be real. Like
they're.
Disney will be like, oh my god, the freaking treehouse took a
That's
damn
true.
year.
Yeah.
Like-
Look, it takes a long time to create blueprints to show off at events and then do nothing with. Okay, it takes a
Those
long.
renderings are a lot. Yeah, it does take. Shout out to the graphic designing team.
It's not your
Y'all
fault.
are amazing.
Make your money. It's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah. So that's what's going on over there. But over at Islands of Adventure, we're going to go over to the Islands of Adventure and talk about, they've got some animatronics at Islands of Adventure, but this one is one you can't see because it is currently working at Circus McGurkus in the back. The employees, because it's recently reopened after a big refurbishment, and in the back, a robot is now managing the fries. So in this sense, he's known as Horton the Fry Robot by team members, which I think is a good nod to Dr. Seuss. But this isn't like a special universal robot. This is it's called the Frybot, and it does fries. That's its whole thing. People load it and it flips it, and when it's done, you basically reset it manually and do all of that. So it's basically a way to
Cool.
turn fries, I guess, is the best way to consider it. What do we think? Is this the end of? Is this a labor disaster, or is this finally we're not having kids burn themselves as they try to make stupid fries for screaming toddlers?
I mean, the people were afraid of AI. You should have been afraid of the fry robot, I think, this entire time. So, I don't know.
Have
like,
you
I don't
ever
know. I think it's pretty cool.
been in a fryer in a
Yes,
kitchen?
I used to make fries for a drive-in.
I was asking Sarah because you
Oh.
seem pretty confident that like no, this is like the opposite of job creation. This is evil. But
No, I think it's pretty funny. I think
it's
it's pretty cool.
awful being near a fryer and doing it. But I also share the same concern about jobs and robots and AI taking
Mhm.
our jobs and whatnot. I think that should be a very loud concern.
Oh, no, I was joking, by the way, y'all.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, here's the
I was just looking around.
here's what I would say. I would say that I do not like Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I think it is a bad movie, but there is a moment in that movie where his father works at, I think it's like a toothpaste factory, and they fire everybody and replace them with robots. But then the dad gets his job back because someone's got to fix the robots, right? And so for me, this is what I always think about when these things. I'm like, yeah, you could have somebody work there and fry stuff, but you're also creating a job if someone's got to go around and make adjustments and fix that. And that job is actually going to be probably at a livable wage. One would
Yep,
hope as
for
an
sure.
engineer.
Yeah.
More technical jobs,
Right. So we have a certain level of menial job enslavement that people can grab onto but they don't actually make a livable wage, and there's nothing, they're sort of stuck in a cycle. And
sure.
while I don't believe that like capitalism solves this by making everything robots, I do think that the evolution away from, hey, you're going to spend the next, first of all, no one spends 20 years anymore working at McDonald's at the till. That's not a thing, though it used to be. And now it's like, do you really want that job? Like, do you really want to just stand there and take work? I did cashiering work at a grocery, and I thought, God, this is really boring work because you're in charge of talking to people and you can screw up the payment system. And now a robot does it. And I don't know, it's fine. It's life moves on, like horse.
I feel like robots eliminate the drudgery
Right.
jobs, whereas AI kills the creative jobs that make life
Correct.
worth living.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where AI doesn't make any jobs, robotics at least makes more jobs for engineering folks and things of that nature. We're a fairly progressive podcast. I feel like we're coming very like, yeah, sure. Yeah, bots, cool. I don't know. It's a fucking fry bot. Like, what do you want? It's,
Yeah.
It's
I think it's
oil is
it's a
hot.
weird one.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
And it keeps kids from getting hurt.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't think anyone's really lamenting
No.
that the basket flipping is automated.
No.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Well,
I also just
go
want to
ahead.
say that I think they should implement this in Jurassic Park also, because there is a very iconic robot
Yes, there
turning
is.
eggs in Jurassic Park.
Isn't
and I think it would be wonderful if we could look in and see this same robot just turning fries
Yeah.
over,
I thought they used to do that. Maybe they didn't have a robot,
I think they have a little display.
but they don't have a
in
robot
the,
doing it at all or showing up in it.
I thought
They don't.
that they had like a egg thing.
But I would
Oh,
know.
maybe
that
like a
turns.
non-moving one that's kind of just like
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
but not
think they
maybe
might
not doing the
actually,
job.
yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: this wouldn't even be a story if this wasn't basically a Kugla arm doing it. This is if they had found a way to like just the system, the fryer itself brought the things up and held them and then brought them down. We wouldn't. No one would even know about this, but they
no
went
one will care.
fancy ass with it
No.
and put it on a Kugla. Maybe this is the new Harry Potter ride. You just get dipped, you get fried. Harry Fryer Potter.
Fritter?
Harry Fry. I don't
Harry
know.
Fritter.
Harry Potter
No,
and
Harry
the
Fritter sounds gross.
Harry Friday.
Harry Fryer.
Potter?
Ugh. Ugh.
Harry. Oh, okay.
I mean,
Real
Harry
nasty.
Fryer.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Ugh.
Just let it die.
Ugh.
Let's let J.K. Rowling come up with some really obscene,
Ugh.
on the nose name for the frying machine.
Yeah.
Just hearing that name was a jump scare.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, thank you. We can put her in a fryer. Okay, so
Literally.
moving on. Speaking of things that are going away, there is no more 3D glasses on Skull Island Reign of Kong, apparently. This ride, of course, is sort of, I don't know, I'd say 75% of the ride is basically the tram tour from Hollywood. And then, of course, there's a big King Kong kind of chest up that kind of roars at you at the end, which is very, 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 very cool. And I will also say I just saw a video online of people getting evac'd and all the lights are on in that space. And there's this giant Kong that's not moving. And it's the creepiest thing I've seen in a long time. Like, I do not
Scary.
dinosaur like at Animal Kingdom is so much scarier to me when like you come up on a Carnotaurus and it's not moving and it's broken and there's still roars and stuff. I hate it. It makes me it's gross. So yeah. So I don't know. They've taken out these
I've
glasses.
heard it's temporary.
Is that true? Why? Why would it be temporary?
I don't know. That's just what I've heard.
It wouldn't make sense for it to be temporary because it's like, what would they
It
be?
certainly wouldn't make
what would
sense
they
for
be
them to
doing?
do away with it altogether. I mean, that ride needs
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah,
Like, if
you
you don't have the 3D.
It needs it. Yeah.
You can't just convert 3D to 2D just like easily like that, can
Well,
you?
yeah, 'cause
They've done it before.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just a Doppler effect difference. So you're
Yeah.
just taking one channel and showing it. But at the same time, it's kind of missing the whole point. That's, things need to snap out at you. That's the point. That's why the video.
Yeah.
If they just want to get rid of the whole ride, I'd be fine with it.
You know what? I would say that Skull Island might be one of my biggest attraction disappointments ever.
Same.
Same.
I was at my computer refreshing all day when that ride came out.
Same.
Because
like the years leading up to it, I was just like, oh my god.
yeah, and then that day I was like,
The facade is
the
beautiful.
facade's beautiful. Everything they showed, you were excited about, and they're like, well, it's going to have this aspect. And I was like, well, that's fine. And they said there was an animatronic Kong, and I was so excited. And believe me, I've been on the ride like once or twice, and I love that Kong. Maybe only once. But here's the problem: they put scare actors in the queue. I can't fucking deal with that shit. All right, that's not no, not gonna happen.
I've
And then
never
if you
had
get-
that experience.
If you get stuck in the queue, it's super super loud because the idea is that you know it's like a horror thing where everything is so loud that
Yeah.
you can't hear them coming. I hate it. I hate it. And so
That's your biggest issue with the Kong ride?
no. My biggest issue with the Kong ride, well, that's a big issue because I instantly don't want to go do it. Right. It
Right.
brings anxiety to me. But my big reason for it is you go from confrontation to this and there's just no equivalency. Like
No.
there were some big ass apes in that other ride. and
And like tangible sets that felt almost real and space and all of that.
My beef with that ride is the height restriction.
Mhm.
There's like none.
Yeah.
And so like you bring your small child onto this like
Ooh.
34-inch height restriction and you watch King Kong rip the jaws of the T-Rex and you're like, it's a pretty poor kid is traumatized.
The whole ride
It's
is
a
traumatizing.
gruesome ride.
Yeah. I mean it's based
It's a scary ride.
It's so gruesome.
the Peter Jackson
And for what?
the Peter Jackson movie is very dark. Like it
Totally.
truly is a super dark movie. I like it. I wish it wasn't like 1,000 hours long. But I do
Same.
enjoy it. I know it's a completely different company. I know there's got to be some reason that's not happened, but I am all for like just go ahead and do Kong Godzilla. Like figure it out. Like you can like I know it's legendary and the rights are different and they own Peter Jackson's Kong movie, right? So they can do stuff with that and those designs, but they can't do it with the other ones without figuring it out. But like there is no Godzilla anything in America. Like do it. People would love that. People would go crazy.
I
and that's
have
quite
to
interesting.
say, I'm pretty sure that Universal regrets this, and I'm pissed about it.
Mhm.
That expansion plot was for Jurassic, And
Yeah.
for my entire life, as long from 1999, I've been waiting for them to fulfill all these promises on what Jurassic Park, the land, was going to be.
Right.
And prior to Jurassic World being a huge success, they greenlit this Kong thing. And now they're stuck with this Kong thing, and Jurassic has proven to be this evergreen franchise that's just barfing out money at them. And this could have been such a cool opportunity to do something with that.
Yeah.
And we got Kong.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that, Bri, because that's an undercurrent in my hatred of that ride.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's an
'Cause
odd.
I really hate River Adventure. Like, I think it's a shitty ride.
It's a bad ride.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
It's a bad ride.
It's a bad ride. In all its forms, to be honest, even with the updates,
Yeah.
it's not a great
Yeah.
ride.
Not great.
I will say that we've talked about I believe it's Universal Shanghai or Universal somewhere that has
Beijing?
Beijing that has the new
Yeah.
one, and it's like that's all we want. Just give us that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want Chris Pratt, but if fine, whatever.
I like Chris Pratt. Just
It's a
kidding.
much, but shut up. No one likes Chris Pratt.
I'll take it.
I was kidding. I'll take him without the Hillsong Church.
Good luck.
You know.
He's allegedly
Yeah.
not. Well, whatever. Let's move on.
Yeah, I
I
heard that
heard-
he doesn't actually
yeah.
go to that church.
No, but he's like
I hope so, or I hope not.
he's like
Yeah.
married to a Schwarzenegger, and he's weird.
I just don't think there's a really good dinosaur ride yet. I just don't think we've gotten there yet.
Oh, I think
and
I
I
think
think-
Beijing did it. I truly do. But
I haven't experienced it, so I can't say.
Sure, I haven't either.
And how many animatronics are on there? Two animatronics.
no.
The T-Rex and the Indominus, right? That's it.
No.
Everything else is screens.
no, there's one. There's let me think this through.
Isn't it two?
First Indominus, you got one Indominus right at the beginning. You have the Indominus Rex that races after. Are you talking about the Beijing one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the Indominus that races after you. You've got the one with the ball on its tail that hits your car.
Ankylosaurus. That's the one I'm forgetting.
You
Yeah.
have, I think, a Triceratops somewhere.
No.
No, my brain has a Triceratops in there somewhere. But if you don't, you still have the T-Rex at the end and another Indominus and Blue.
Oh, we do have a blue. Okay, that's good. That's good.
It's six.
That's a good.
And those are some
Yeah.
huge ass robotics too. Those aren't playing around.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but you're right. We more dinosaur rides, in general. Okay, so that's kind of the news. We had some stuff that we thought about talking about with Iger and the proxy fight, but let's all not kid ourselves. Who gives a shit? Like, make this go away. It's boring, and we don't like Disney business
Yeah.
stuff. It's snore. So instead, we are going to go to one of our favorite segments. Beware our guest. Okay, so we should lay a little caveat on this segment. This Beware Our Guest this week is less Beware Our Guest and more Beware Our Guest, a little comma after Beware, because it's more of a Beware Our Guest, because we have two instances of guest things in the parks that they need to be careful of. The first is that and this one's a wild story, a doctor dies from an allergic reaction after eating at Raglan Road at Disney Springs. So it looks like I'm going to completely botch the name. So I apologize to this person. I don't even think I'll attempt it, to be honest. But they were a doctor at NYU, and they were visiting Raglan Road, which is the Irish pub here at Disney Springs. And this was in October with their husband and his mother, so her mother-in-law. Apparently severe allergies to dairy and nuts. She ordered something. The waiter left to ask the chef to make certain the items could be made without allergen, would make it allergen free, and said, yep, not a problem. And the waiter asked several more times and unequivocally assured them the food would be allergen free. She ordered the Sure I'm Frittered vegetarian broccoli and corn fritters, Scallop Forest sea scallops appetizer, and this shepherd went vegan entree with a side of onion rings. After that meal, her husband returned to the hotel room, and she, I guess, was still hanging around Disney Springs, and she went to the Planet Hollywood nearby, and basically suffered a massive reaction, and collapsed and was administered an EpiPen, but it didn't take. And she was transported to a local hospital and passed away at the hospital. So this is just they are suing the Great Irish Pubs Florida Incorporated, who own Raglan Road and Disney Parks and Resorts in Orange County, for this. They say the lawsuit states that Raglan Road and Disney owed a duty of care to its invitees/guests to ensure that the food that was designated as allergen-free and or food that was requested to be prepared allergen-free was in fact free from allergens that would cause death or serious physical harm to guests with food allergies. It alleges Raglan Road failed to educate, train, and instruct its employees on how to prepare food in response to allergy requests.
What's wild is she had dairy and nut in her system.
Yes.
So they didn't just fuck up on one of the allergens.
No.
They got her
They
with
just
the
didn't
1-2
care.
punch.
Sarah, I'm not willing to say they didn't care. I feel like that is
They probably just cross-contaminationed it.
that.
It can be
You
very
think
easy
so?
to do
Yeah.
that. It's
Like-
very possible to do that.
Yeah.
But for there to
Especially-
be both of these, like it seems like, I don't know. To me, like this is a very large corporation. This is a company that deals with a lot of different types of guests with multiple different allergens.
Disney does
or whatever.
But it's
Raglan,
not operated by
right?
Disney.
Raglan Road is owned by a completely different business.
But it's in Disney Springs,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Which has Disney employees who go through Disney training.
But
At the
the
end of the day,
Raglan
there's-
Road employees would be Raglan Road
Right.
employees,
Disney
not
Springs
Disney
em-
employees.
Disney
Yeah.
Springs
But
employees.
I'm saying, regardless,
no, Disney.
both of them.
No, Disney Springs employees
whoever-
don't go through Disney training.
Nope.
They don't go through Disney
No.
training like at all. But okay, but just
No.
like okay, let's just say a random company. If you were working in the restaurant
Right.
industry, I feel like you would
Of
know
course.
Yes.
not
That's
to
a
do
given.
this.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like I think for me, it's like this is just straight negligence. There's no we didn't know or it was an accident. Like this is straight up like this is your
It's
fault.
as-
Like that's
It
allegedly.
happens all the
allegedly.
time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
You see,
This
Yeah.
is so sad.
for decades, hundreds of years, in fact, centuries, people would just die. And we would go, I don't know. They just
That
died.
fucking witch did it again.
Yeah. Honestly, like, because we didn't know about allergies and this kind of stuff. We just truly didn't know.
Yeah.
And in fact, they probably all died as kids because it was too early. You know, like they just, they died of consumption. They just went, I don't know, everything's consumption. I don't even know what consumption is, but,
It's just gross negligence, in my opinion. That's just the only way that I
it's
see
so
it.
hard. Here's the other thing. I do not want to blame anybody per se. I think it's too complicated and I don't know enough. What I will say is if your ass is that allergic, how come you are why would you risk it? Like, again,
But how is she
I'm not
risking
putting
it
it
though?
on her.
Especially-
I'm not putting it on her, but I am saying
Disney has a reputation of being very, very good with allergies.
True.
And so you
Yeah.
think you're on Disney property, you think you're in good
Yeah.
hands.
Exactly.
That's the issue right there. That's it.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point. It's hard, and you
I think
understand
it's
someone
just
who's on
one
vacation,
side.
they got to eat somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
Yeah.
And she let her guard down, thinking that it's Disney; they'll take care of me.
Exactly.
And
And then they
Exactly.
assured her, yep,
Yeah.
we can make it without those things. And
Multiple
I would not
times.
be. So many people are like, oh, gluten free, okay. And they just don't take that shit seriously.
Mhm.
And so they're like, oh, I'll just wipe it out really quick and that'll be fine. Like, it's not technically in it, but never mind that the dish that I just made did have it. And
Mhm.
all it takes is contact with something that had it on it.
Yeah, if it's that big of an allergy, for sure. It is strange because the way it sounds, the autopsy, it was a lot of dairy and nut. It wasn't just
That's what I'm saying.
a
It was in
tiny
there.
bit.
Like,
fritters,
it's not,
vegetable fritters.
I don't get where.
There was the sea scallops.
Yeah.
And onion
And
rings
the-
are sometimes made with a milk batter.
like milk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
again, I
I don't know. I will say I went to Raglan Road last weekend.
Oh,
And-
girl, you okay?
I'm not allergic to anything. But the second we sat down, the waiter was like, so any food allergies
Yeah, I
I
bet.
should know about? And,
Wow.
and then he noticed that we both ordered vegetarian, and so he like came back and he's like, okay, well, just here's the soup, but like it has dairy in it. It has dairy. Just, like it's vegetarian. I checked, but it's dairy. Like these people are traumatized. At
Well,
this
yeah, they
point.
killed somebody.
So yeah,
that'll do it.
yeah.
Yeah. No one wins. No one wins in such a scenario. It's as close to a car accident as you can get. Like that's not a car accident. It's this sort of things happen very quickly. And I'm not saying, sorry, you might be correct. It could have been someone being a complete asshole and being like, whatever, and putting two next to each other and not really considering which one was what. Like, who knows? But if cross-contamination is that, like, effective.
I just hope that this is a lesson for the future.
Totally.
To any corporation, any restaurant, to like not take these things as whatever.
Yeah.
Like these things are serious. People have allergies, people have dietary restrictions, religious restrictions, and if they are coming to you and you are providing them a service and assuring them that they will be they're putting their lives in your hands, that you take that seriously.
My belief,
so
I can tell you
that's the lesson.
Looking at their menu on Sunday, 2 of the things that she ordered are advertised as vegan. So like those should not have any dairy,
no dairy
without any modifications.
I mean, we've reached a point in society where I can get a seltzer water that tastes like coconut. So can't we just like not put peanuts in things? Can't we just like, as much as I don't necessarily love fake
I
stuff.
don't think it was peanuts. I think it was like actual true nuts.
Sure. But you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like from a litigious standpoint, even if you inform, people are still going to sue. And like, if I was a chef at this point and realizing that, you know, there's going to be a rush of things and people are going to rush. This is why Disney doesn't like throw into Tomorrowland Terrace like some random, you know, cosmic rays. They're not like, and here's the thing with like nuts on top. Like, it's just not a thing they do because it's a bunch of teenagers chaotically, like maybe, you know, it's all in batch and made somewhere else and brought in, and it's you'll fuck it up. So
for sure,
I think it's just one of those things where these kind of places need to either put the customer first or change how they're going to make their food. I think there's no other way around it. The last one is a guest falls into, this is just kind of fun, actually. A guest falls into Snow White's wishing well at Disneyland Park. She's just trying to take a photo on the well, and she kind of like, I don't really think this is, you know, I wouldn't even call this bad behavior. It's just like kind of propping up on the well a little bit. It's not a huge deal. But then
she fell in.
The girl fell.
She posted it.
The girl fell in. She posted. She did take it down, but not until it was like shared with everybody. And she did say, she said on, I think this was Instagram. No, it was Twitter. She said, "I would like everyone to know that I fell into Snow White's wishing well at Disneyland, and I'm using that as an excuse to not do anything this week. So God bless you. You know, been there.
I hope she made a wish.
That too.
Yeah. But that's a fun little, just beware, don't go near menus or wishing wells and you'll be okay. All right, on to our next segment, because we have some litigious things to take care of. So it's time for Rat Court.
Hear ye, hear ye. Rat Court is now in session. The Ratastic judge, Nathan Hartman, presiding.
Order in the court. It's time for Rat Court, and we have some different cases to behold today. Janine, would you please read for the record our first case?
Yes. So in our first case, a Florida woman, classic in the genre, has filed a lawsuit against Universal Orlando. Apparently, Jerry Ann and Richard Clem from Broward County rode Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, and Jerry Ann got a bit jostled, and her head rocked around and hit the headrest too much and gave her a TBI, supposedly.
TBI being
traumatic
brain injury.
Oh, okay.
They are suing for an excess of $50,000, which is the minimum that you have to put to get moved into a specific branch of the legal system. They're demanding a trial by jury. her husband is suing for like his loss of consortium.
What's that mean?
He's a plaintiff. Like he's suing here. I'll pull up the full suit. It's real quick. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's negligence, plaintiff Richard Clem has suffered and will continue to suffer the loss of his spouse's services, support, consortium, and the care and comfort of her society.
What?
What?
My wife
You
can't
can
give
sue
me
for
no
that?
more blowjobs because she got herself a brain injury right on that rib right rocket.
She can't give him brain anymore. Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, I've always thought that some of the best girls that give blowjobs have no brains. So, that's just.
Oof. They gave it all
Happy
away.
International Women's Day, everyone.
Women's Day, y'all.
Thank you so much. That's a bimbo
Love
joke.
that.
I brought it back from 1985. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh boy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
But she's suing
That's-
for a whole list. Like she's saying pain
lot.
and suffering, disability, physical
yeah, all of
impairment,
it.
Right.
mental anguish.
Mental anguish.
Wow.
Jerry
Loss
Ann,
of- she said loss of capacity.
Can we talk for a second?
She said loss of capacity for enjoyment
We
of
need to
life.
talk for a second about the fact that her name is Jerry Ann Clem. I'm not trying to make fun of someone's name. I'm just saying someone like named Jerry Ann Clem from Broward County would be the kind of person who would put this lawsuit on.
It checks
Check some
out.
boxes.
Yeah,
It checks
it
out.
does.
for
What
sure.
song?
Yep.
What song was she listening to when she got a traumatic brain injury? Do we know? Did she go into the custom list and pick out Rainbow Connection?
I don't think it was Rainbow Connection.
No.
Is that an option on
Yes.
Fried Rocket?
There's
Wow.
a secret menu.
Ooh.
I learned recently,
Yeah.
Okay.
and it has Rainbow
Yeah.
Connection.
The only
Only people with taste will
Sung
take
by
Rainbow
Kermit
Connection.
or
no,
by
it's
like
the legit
anonymous
song. Mhm.
karaoke?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The only problem is you have to
Yeah.
ride Rip Ride Rocket. So,
Yes, indeed, that is a problem.
Yeah.
I have nearly blacked out on that.
Yeah,
ride.
it's not for me.
I love it nonetheless.
You do.
It's a
Yeah.
It's not
Not
bad.
me. Not for me.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
This judge is a
Really?
baby. No, thank you. I will listen to songs on the
The
ground.
headbanging is a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
But
is
is
a
it
lot.
TBI
It's
worthy?
hard to imagine that a roller coaster could give you a TBI.
But those head, like the head, what is it? Rests, like they're hard. They're not
They
soft
they
at all.
tell you to push your head back.
Like you would think it would have happened before.
Yeah. No, I don't think you can get a TBI. I think she's just tripping. But go ahead and sue, girl.
Maybe
I hope
she's
you get your money.
very soft-skulled.
With a name like Jerry.
Jerry
Ann.
Ann.
Maybe.
Look, I would say that this was so. Of course, we have to decide if this is sus or legit. I would be more on the lines of saying it's legit if it wasn't for the fact that her husband's also like, I ain't gonna get any now because my wife's got a leaky noggin. So can I get some money too? That kind of throws it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. So where do we land? Janine, is this legit or is it sus?
I don't know. I
This
don't
is
know.
your job.
I need more evidence.
We are not technically
I
the
need more.
Supreme
I
Court.
need. I need to hear. I'm not the judge.
Well, I
guess
am.
maybe I'm the jury in this.
Yeah, you guys are the
We're
rat
the
jury.
judge. I guess.
Are we the jury?
don't-
We're the jury?
Don't
That's
question.
the vibe I'm picking
I don't
up
know
here.
how this works, except
Yeah.
we all give our vote.
Are you not the judge?
I'm the judge, but like, you know,
Oh, well, you do
at some
sentencing.
point we need probably to
So-
create a Supreme Rat Court. I don't disagree.
Well, we need 9
But
people.
Lord knows I'm the only one with a robe. Well, actually, we need like 50 people to rotate and stop giving the Supreme Rat Court, which they are. We can just call them the Rat Court. We can't be the Rat Supreme Court because there's already rats in the Supreme Court. So, hi-oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Literally.
Bringing my jokes in.
I will
I'll be
say,
on Carson next
it
week.
is
Clarence
not-
Thomas, his bitch ass.
Not
Mhm.
Morgan and Morgan.
Oh, it's not Morgan and Morgan. Who's representing?
Nope. Krupnik, Campbell, Malone, Buser, Slamma, Hancock.
And a partridge in
It's
a
a lot.
pear tree.
Yeah.
Sus
Fort
based on
Lauderdale.
that to me.
Sus from Sarah.
Why?
Sus. I don't know. That's
Don't
too
like
much of
it.
a name.
Too many
long of a name.
names.
I don't
That's
like it.
That's like a standard law firm.
Too long.
Janine, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
I don't know.
how
We'll
you
leave it
come to
just
your
us.
reasoning. It just matters you come to a reasoning. So we're going to go to Bri,
Yeah.
but we're going to come back to Janine. I will not order in the court. I will not pass this case until we all have our say. Bri, what do you legit or sus?
I'm gonna stamp this with a big fat S-U-S.
Oh, we got a sus.
Sus. Yeah.
All right, 2 susses.
Sus.
Janine.
I also think it's sus. I just can't imagine someone getting a TBI from a roller coaster and it not being a thing that recurs.
With other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it pretty?
He has a faulty skull.
It's soft.
But he might.
I mean,
he
that's the
might have
issue
a
here.
legitimate reason for saying that his wife is not giving him head, but it just might not be this route.
All right.
So look at
Like,
other options.
The only thing that I can imagine is this woman is like incapacitated and like not functional as a human being to justify that. But this like it's hard for me to imagine that that's the case from riding a roller coaster.
You know what? I'm gonna split this vote. What I'm going to say as my final declaration here is that I am going to award Richard Klim legit that he's not getting enough from his wife, as Sarah said. And then I am also going to say sus for the rest. So sus. Okay, now on to our next case. Janine, could you please read for the record our next corporate-oriented case?
Yeah, so this is a fun one in the if you're into like antitrust stuff and monopoly busting. There is a sports network
Yes.
called Fubo.
Fubo.
I am not familiar with it. I've never heard of it. It sounds like football, like soccer. They have called out Disney, Fox, and Warner Brothers on their sports conglomerate app that they're putting
Yes,
together.
this new one.
They're basically calling it a cartel.
Big words.
Yeah, they said this is a duel to the death.
Big words.
It has.
I mean, it really is.
when we
I mean,
started
it is
this-
for
started this
Fubo.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Jeez.
fighting for consumers. We're fighting for customers. We're fighting for the tens of billions of dollars that are wasted annually on consumers paying for the same content multiple times. This is a very important process. We are sticking to our principles, to our guns. We are continuing to walk and chew gum at the same time, as you see in our numbers. This is very much a David versus Goliath kind of situation. Yeah, fair, honestly. Like, I think that consumers probably appreciate having everything in one spot. But that it's tough
It's
for
anti-competitive
competition.
which is something they said about
Yeah.
ESPN as well ages ago in the cable years. For sure.
Interesting.
Though that
Yeah.
got it. There was enough elsewhere that it wasn't as big of a deal. Sarah, where do you land?
I'm gonna say, based on me being anti-capitalism, anti-monopolies, I'm gonna say it's
Legit.
legit. Yeah, legit. Not sus.
No.
Sus of Disney, legit of the lawsuit.
Legit
was
of
legit.
the
I'm gonna say
lawsuit.
legit.
Bri.
Yes.
I have recurring nightmares about corporate monopolies, so I'm gonna have to say this is absolutely 100% legit.
Yes. I will
Yeah.
agree. We come order in court. This is legit.
Is this our first legit one?
legit. Yeah. Well, this is our
I
first
think
legit.
that is our
one.
first
Yeah.
legit one.
So,
Wow.
this court is fair. We will take every case. But legit.
It
We are
does
fair.
feel a little icky that when it's like some Joe Schmo suing Disney, we're like, boo! And then it's like another corporation suing Disney, we're like, yay!
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I don't like the idea of Disney having all this stuff. I don't really care about Fubo.
No, I totally
I
agree.
just don't like that they're like, oh, we'll just work with Fox that we bought half of.
Like a katamari of capitalism.
Catamaran.
Rolling around, sucking everything up.
It's true. Very true. So we come to this rat court with this final case with a legit. Well, there you go. That was, of course, Rat Court. And now we are on to the mailbag.
You know it's nice when the postman has a letter in a sack for you.
Okay. So we have several people who have written in because of Dave's.
We have a beautiful big fat
We
mailbag.
do.
this week.
So big, so big. It's like that one in Miracle on 34th Street. So it is the contest we had about where Dave shot his Blue Peter segment. And we have several people that wrote in. The first one is J Rob. I should say we have 3 today. One is named, one person's name is J Rob, the other is Joe, and the other is Rob. It's like, guys.
Oh my God.
Then we got Joe Rob,
All
we
right.
got Joe Bean, we got Rob Joe. Yeah. So y'all, we really are leaning in on the Rob Joe demographic for our show, to say the least. All right. J Rob says the Blue Peter secret filming location is the backside of the New York City Library facade. Love the show, y'all. Thank you, J Rob. We appreciate you. Joe, not Joser, Joe, says your pal, other Joe here. First off, yes, I am with Dave in saying that a Tangled musical would be absolutely amazing. That is something we talked about last episode. Just thinking about seeing the I See the Light sequence on stage with lanterns floating around the theater makes me weep. Just please, Disney Theatrics, actually allow it to transfer to Broadway if it does well. Still haven't gotten over how the masterpiece that is Hunchback was robbed of a Broadway run. Secondly, I think I know where Dave's Blue Peter segment was shot. So after multiple viewings and looking at way too many videos of HHN house lines based on Dave's hint, I'm going to guess behind the New York Library skyline facade next to Studio 33. Can't wait to see if that is actually the case. And then he sent us a cute little thing here, which is very, very funny. And it is, let me show you the graphic. It says, as you can see here, where in the world is Agent D? Well, actually, that's a question we're asking tonight as well, is where in the world is Agent D? But we have one more. Rob says, howdy, rats. I almost said that Dave's scene was outside E.T., because that's what the building in the background seemed to be, but couldn't think of where those columns fit. Then I realized it's likely behind the NY Public Library facade in New York. The building in the background would have been Confrontation at the time, and the large towers are holding up the NY skyline behind the library. So that was from Rob. So Dave did answer this. He did give a full answer. He says it was backstage behind NYC backdrop, next to Mummy, then Kong. Sometimes they run some Horror Nights cues near there now. So there you go. You were all 3 correct, and you all win the special prize of our admiration. And that's it, because we're broke. My students always...
I'm
yes.
just really impressed with Joe's effort.
Oh, yes.
Like, that research effort was like...
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Pretty good.
Gotta respect
We always
that.
play review games in my classes for reviewing stuff, and they're always wanting extra credit. And I was like, no, what you get is knowledge. And so what you have gotten tonight as well is knowledge. Now you know.
Love that.
You can point back there and say, I know of a man who once wore a Men in Black outfit and talked to some British people. What can you say? History, folks.
Not just any man,
Agent D. All right. So we're going to move on to our last but beloved, very beloved segment here on the show. And that, is, of course, is the Astuter Computer Poem of the Week.
That's why I'm a router for me computer. Everybody needs a friend.
Okay, here we go. We're going to talk to Astuter. And you know what? I think, sorry, you mentioned that we used to call it the Haikuter. While we're filming this, it is International Women's Day. So called the Haikuter once more. Done such a good job at International Women's Day. Just between my jokes that I stole from Rodney Dangerfield and Haikuter. All right, computer, Astuter, could you please for me just a little haiku about, I don't know, something interesting that happened? Maybe Universal. We never seem to do Universal news. What do you got for us? Let's see here. Frybot, silent friend. Horton fries with gentle care. Tech whispers, progress.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
good.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So there you go. Another episode sadly come to a close. Or maybe not sadly. Who knows? But it's over. And you can go back to your life now. As do we, which we're all excited about, I think, which I think for us will be bed. Anyway, Rat Castle is produced, of course, by yours truly, Nathan Hartman. Bri, thank you so much for joining us. We always love when you can fill
my
in.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can people find you online? And you have a new movie that recently came out, I think we talked about last time. Where can people find that?
The movie.
That was a big sigh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The short film is available on the YouTube. It is called The Hatchling. Otherwise, I am available on Instagram. Username charismatic_mega_trauma.
Oh, there you go. So you can find him there. And yeah, you can find us everywhere as well. You can find us on Instagram. We're doing clips. We're doing stuff on TikTok. We're doing
Also,
yes?
I have a Magic Key now, so I'll be in the parks. I'll be back at Disneyland.
Sarah's back at Disneyland.
So,
Disneyland's like,
Back at
Mama's
Disneyland.
back.
I'll actually be going
Mama's
this
coming
weekend.
back.
I'm back. I'm back.
We're very excited about that. So we'll get some park stuff.
Yes.
And Lord knows, we'll have some material when we're all in Tokyo. So plenty
this year will
going
be
there.
crazy.
Though my wife will kill me if I just do social media stuff. So, you got to balance. You got to find a balance. Anyway. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find us on all that. You can buy merch. You can leave questions. You can put mailbag stuff in. If you have questions, we'd love to answer questions as well as, send you guys questions and you give us answers. But we would love to give you answers. So you can do all that at ratcastlepod.com. And with that, grab your belongings and exit to the left.
Will you stop this foolishness?
What foolishness would you like to see?
Will you get out of here?